Hello everybody. Today we are going to review Rambo Last Blood, which is also part of this month of June. Although I'm watching this movie in April, but I do have, there'll be other stuff that was already in May by the time this video comes out. So anyhow, hopefully by this time these videos have intros, because I will be able to sit down in May and actually go through one of the free editing software things and get intros ready for my videos by June, because I have a week off in May. So fingers crossed that I can get everything else I need to do done, plus that on top of it. Because, oh boy, I need to do my, I guess, sort of spring cleaning type stuff during that week and finish some other things that I just have been procrastinating or putting off or just haven't had the time to do due to work and this and sleep schedule just being all messed up lately. So hopefully I can get back in a pattern. But I digress. Obviously on to the movie. So this is hopefully, or I guess I shouldn't say hopefully, but this seemed to be the, I guess, nail in the coffin as to the Rambo series. It seemed to be a fitting end, at least, to it. Unfortunately, not a very happy ending, but an ending nonetheless, because he does lose his niece, Gabriella, I do believe. Now, I'm not really sure. He considers her a daughter himself, so, but when she goes to meet her real father, that's where things really turn sideways. And I'm just looking up. So this movie came out in 2019, and I actually went to see it in theaters with my mom because she'd seen all the older Rambo movies. So yeah, Gabriella, played by Yvette Monreal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But anyhow, the main enemies in this one are the Martinez brothers. I guess, yeah, Hugo Martinez and where's the other one? Victor Martinez. Now, I've seen Victor Martinez played by Oscar Yaneda. I might be butchering that name, and Sergio Perez Manchetta. See, I hope I'm pronouncing those right. And the one girl that he runs into down in Mexico when he finds out that Gabriella has gone down there to find her real father after all these years, even though obviously Rambo tells her that it's not a good idea to go down there. She's not going to find what she's looking for. She's just going to end up disappointed. And then her friend, who turns out not to be her friend at all, which is, what was her friend's name? Jesus, I swear to God. Giselle, played by Vanessa Pineda. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, she goes down there too. Gabriella goes down there to meet her father, and her father basically turns her away. I guess she just wanted answers as to why he left. But obviously there was some pretty serious backstory, because at one point the lady living with the two of them, and I don't know whether, like, what kind of, but Maria Beltran, played by Adriana Bizarra. Now, I'm not sure what kind of tie she had in the story, other than the fact that maybe she was like the grandmother, possibly, of Gabriella. I might be mistaken in that, but she obviously had some connection to Gabriella anyway. So she must have, maybe she was like a grandmother or Nana or some sort of, obviously, I guess maybe more like a parental figure. And she had some sort of connection anyway. I'm going to go with grandmother on that one, possibly, because she definitely wasn't the mother, because I believe the mother passed away, if I'm remembering that correctly. And that's why, obviously, Steve is taking care of her, or sorry, John is taking care of her. Jesus. Steve, I don't know where I'm getting Steve from. So, she goes down to Mexico. Her friend, Giselle, obviously betrays her and sells her off to the Martinez brothers. And then, so John has to go down to Mexico to eventually find her. Unfortunately, on the way back to America, Gabriella passes away, obviously because they'd been drugging her the entire time and basically been using her for prostitution. And I guess they were going to eventually human traffic her, unfortunately, was their plan, but they didn't get to do that, and unfortunately she passes away. So John goes back down to Mexico to meet with the woman who helped him out the first time, Carmen. Right, yeah. And he is able to actually execute one of the Martinez brothers in Mexico, which clearly makes the other one angry, so he brings his men back across the border, finds where John lives, and by the time they even get there, because I don't know how many days it actually took them to, how many hours, I guess, really, it might have been just like 1 day prep for both of them, but the elaborate, that's not the word I'm looking for, the way he sets up those traps is just on a whole other elaborate level. That's what I was trying to say. And oh my god, this probably... Now, I can't remember because it's been so long since I've seen the original Rambo movies, and I have seen the one that came out, and I believe it was 2008. So this one was, oh, holy crap, 11 years after that one. Jeez. I guess he did all the Expendables movies, though, between that and quite a few other ones with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and there's been quite a few Sylvester Stallone movies in the last 13, 14 years, seems. Well, that's crazy to think about, but anyhow, where was I? So yeah, he executes one of the Martinez brothers. Obviously, the other one comes back across the border. He sets up all these traps in these tunnels that he's built, which he spends a lot of time in, and he seems to be taking up like blacksmithing as a hobby. But I guess it turns out to be more of just him making weapons for the end of the movie as opposed to anything else. Which some of those weapons that he makes are just absolutely insane. The blade size on them is just ridiculous, and I guess that seemed fitting for this movie because, yeah, just the action scenes in this are intense and absolutely 100% gory and sometimes hard to watch for... even for me, it was like, whoa, that's just brutal for a action movie to be that graphic, but... Hey, it is Rambo, it is Sylvester Stallone, so he probably had some sort of creative direction in his own mind of where he wanted this movie to go, and it definitely was a fitting ending for the series. So yeah, he literally just slaughters the whole group of people that come back to, I guess in his own way, when he gives the speech at the end of the movie, it was kind of his own way of making their memories live on. Yeah, I did like the movie, but I guess he's kind of a shell of the man that he used to be, and he tries to keep that, he tries to keep his old self locked in, even though some days it's very hard for him to do. He says that to Gabriella early on in the movie, when he tells her not to go, and he says that he's seen how black a man's heart can be, and obviously he's just, in his own way, he is trying to protect her, obviously, and she probably should have listened, because all this wouldn't have taken place, but, I mean, that would have made the movie, right? If she hadn't done what she did, there would have been no movie, and I shouldn't say that, because there probably still would have been something that happened, but at least she would have been safe. But unfortunately, she went against the words of John and decided to go down to Mexico anyway. And then her friend, who turns out wasn't really a friend at all, betrays her, right? So you live and you learn. But unfortunately, she did not live. So, which was probably one of the sadder moments of the movie, I would say, for sure. And yeah, there was something else that I wanted to talk about, and I think I had a thought, but I totally lost it. Oh, right, that's what I was going to say. I was going to give kudos to Sylvester Stallone because I believe he was 72 when this movie came out, and I gotta say, he does not look that old. I actually didn't know how old he was. I thought he was quite a bit younger than that still, but yeah, it's 72, and it looks like we might be getting an Expendables 4. I've been kind of trying to keep track of that. It looks like it's in development, and he's going to be part of the cast. And there wasn't anything even remotely mentioned about it until after this film came out. So I'm kind of hoping that we do get it, and that he's in one last action movie, and that because I know their plan for the Expendables was to kind of pass the buck onto a younger generation, so that film series could go on for a long time, because they could just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and passing it on to a younger generation, kind of like what they want to do with Pirates of the Caribbean. And maybe they just haven't done that because it's not getting the same sort of pull those movies did. I don't know, because Pirates of the Caribbean and all those movies have been around for so long, right, that it seems like maybe they're just not doing as well as they would have 15, 16 years ago. Or I guess Expendables isn't really that old because it came out, the first one came out in 2010, but still, maybe they're just not holding up as well as they used to, unfortunately. I guess movies change, right, and everybody wants to see something different, not the same thing, but for me, I still love these types of movies because this is who I grew up with, right, so it makes sense for me to want to see more of this. And I'm a huge action movie person, so I think action movies probably are my favorite genre, I must say, as long as they're done right and with the right cast. And it's going to be sad when these guys have to retire, but the day will come when they all have to, right? Because unfortunately, we don't get any younger, but we do make the most of our lives while we're here. So hey, maybe that was the lesson I was supposed to take away from this movie. So I guess you can learn something from every movie, even if it's not the brightest of movies. And I don't mean by brightest, I just mean like story and direction wise. Like it wasn't a happy-go-lucky film. It was dark, for sure. But a very fitting ending, as I've said, to the Rambo series. At least I would think this would be the end. I can't imagine there being any more, because at the end he gives a speech and says that all the people he's come to know are ghosts. So to me that means that he's basically the last one alive in his family, which would be a huge burden after all that time and trying to keep everybody safe. It just would feel like you failed at almost everything, which would suck. But I mean, he did get his revenge in the end, so I guess maybe he finally got a little bit of closure. And I'm not sure whether he passes away in this film at the end, or he just kind of has come to the end of his rope as far as being in that soldier set of mind. Kind of hard to explain, I guess, or think about unless you were actually living it, right? But anyhow, 10 out of 10 on this movie. Would highly recommend watching it, and of course, go back and watch the other ones first if you haven't seen this one, because even I'm a little fuzzy on the old ones. I can't quite remember them, but I will be going back and watching them so that I can do reviews of them for June. So, like, share, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this film if you've seen it. If not, definitely go watch it, as well as the rest of the Rambo series, because from what I remember, there wasn't a bad movie in this series so far. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, my second time watching it, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.